what are you guys taking with you that you learned and did during this project? What practical things did you learn and are you going to keep using?
Well, I touched on this subject a little bit, like during the last point. Is of course, I learned so much about design just from working with the designers in the team. Um, I learned so much about environmental storytelling, about just making art in general, and having a good workflow, which is more of like my professional things I take with me, and that comes from you guys, from working with you guys as a team. But I also learned that consistency and having a good planning, personal planning, like waking up early enough to start working, etc., and being clear about what I'm going to do the entire day. That also will help me, like personal, even with not being an artist, just in life, having like a schedule, what I'm going to do today, what are my plans, what do I want to reach at a bare minimum, and it helps me. It helps keep me sane as a person, because otherwise I'd be batshit crazy right now.
I feel you in that one. I also thought of well, what I learned from and did during this project. There's so much new stuff that I did know, but I never really used in practice. This is the first time I used a lot of the things I learned in actual practice. I also know that I love being talked around. I just love getting an assignment and just doing that. That's perfect. I love that. And well, I learned a lot about prototyping. If I'm just going to be straightforward with it, because I don't think we actually still have made a final product, but we have made so many prototypes and so many good prototypes that you can call a final product. But there's always another step up, another thing you can do better, you can make better. And especially in programming, there's so much things we can optimize in programming, and that's just the fun thing about it. Just keep optimizing that stuff until you get like something that works smooth and not that gives everyone 5 frames in the same world.
Yeah,
I also think it's.
Oh, go ahead, Torben. Go ahead.
I think it's so crazy that prototyping in VR and testing in VR works so well, because you're not just pitching these concepts to someone or just, hey, this is what I did, I'm going to click play and you're going to see what happens. You're just actually putting someone in that space. And I think as a game designer, that's obviously very interesting, but as a theater director as well, because you don't have to pretend all the time like, oh, we're somewhere in a maze. No, you're actually create a maze really quickly. You place someone in it, you develop these small logic systems, and you just see what happens. And you don't have to pretend like there's gameplay, because there really is gameplay, because you're physically there.
So obviously we learn a lot from all the experiments we've done, and for me as well, every experiment had its own thing, so took away a lot from each of it. But the biggest thing for me that I'm going to take away from this project is probably, like you guys discussed in the last question, that with art, you shouldn't be too perfectionistic, right? So what I did before was I just stuck with a small thing and then spent way too much time on it, which is all right, I guess. But for projects like these, I learned it's not a good thing. So I'm glad that's something which was out of my comfort zone that's now, well, I'm more familiar with it now, put it that way.